Women of Reddit. What's a harsh reality you have to accept as a woman? Story 1. 90% of men can overpower you if they want. You can do all the weightlifting and self-defense and jiu-jitsu. They're still going to be stronger, and there's nothing you can do about it. My cousin told me she asked her trainer what she should train for self-defense. He said sprinting. Yeah, we had a self-defense course and a few lectures when I was in school, and they all hinged on escaping, not winning a fight. If you're cornered, hit them once in an easy-to-hit place that will cause enough pain to slow them down, like the nose or solar plexus. Make as much noise as you can and run. A lecturer straight up said to us, "If you remember nothing else from this talk, I want you to remember this: run." Yes, the self-defense class I attended was all about hit like you want to kill him, or at the very least disable him for life. Scream loud enough to wake the dead. Run, and do not stop running until you're somewhere safe. Don't even check if he's following. Run. The instructor kept reminding us to fight dirty. He said self-defense isn't a martial art. You don't win points for fighting fair. Claw until there's blood under your nails, and blind him if you can. As a former self-defense teacher, the solar plexus is an awful target in a self-defense scenario. You are not going to hit it, and nothing around it is vulnerable at all. There should only be two targets: face and groin. Aggressively punch or slap at the groin, and claw at the face. But no matter what you're doing, the only thing you should focus on is getting away. Even if you have the upper hand for a moment, your attacker is also running on adrenaline. He'll recover quickly, and any advantage you might have had is gone. Everything you do should be in service to you getting away. Remember, your job is not to win. Your job is to survive. Reminds of a martial arts trying, being especially mad at those self-defense courses that show some fancy movies with half of them ending with the woman on the ground. He ripped those courses a new one and essentially said play unfair. It's just feel-good stuff. Oh, I can do a grapple move. Yeah, against willing spar partners your weight bracket. I used to do karate and kickboxing. Got a black belt. We were invited to do a woman's self-defense class, and I got invited to help make sure forms were right. I'll never forget the first thing we went over. Sensei came up behind me and picked me up. 6 feet, 200 pounds versus 5 feet, 100 pounds. Like it was nothing, you know. He said, "I can teach you all kinds of cool moves, but it means nothing if I can just grab you. Go dead weight, bite, scream, fire, scratch, whatever you need to flee. Otherwise all this means nothing." I've only been in one situation where I was grabbed like that, and god damn it, he was right. Dead weight and bite and scream fire. Guy backed off real quick. Story 2. You'll often be judged more for your looks than your skills. It sucks, but it's real. No, always. I'm a 5 on a good day, and somehow that doesn't make men think, that one is too ugly to have slept her way up. So she's gotta be competent. It just makes me invisible. Yes, lady, yes. I'm okay, maybe a 5 to 7, depending on your preferences. There's a certain type of guy that literally doesn't see me. Like, I'll make direct eye contact and wave, and they'll just turn away. I remember one that I was working on a school project with, and I was waiting in his car with him while our other partner grabbed something. The other guy texted me to ask if we wanted anything. So I asked this guy. He didn't respond. So I called his name. Nothing. After 2 to 3 tries, I literally had to yell in a completely silent car to get him to realize I was ducking talking to him. I don't have a quiet voice. Unfortunately, I've met a lot more of these guys since moving to the country. Guys who will approach my partner and chat away, but literally never talk to me even though I'm standing beside them the whole time. It doesn't even make me that mad anymore. It's just exhausting. Yes, Women Don't Know You Pretty is a great book. But one of the key points which the author makes is that she'll never judge another woman for things like fillers or botox or hoob jobs. Because society has shaped a culture where women get ahead if they are prettier, and that our society deems these features more attractive. It's shit. especially as women age. Story 3. Unfortunately, safety concerns are constant and must always be considered everywhere. Some of it is second nature for me now too. The other day my husband was like, "Why do you immediately lock the car doors when you get inside? The car auto-locks when you start moving." I had to explain to him that women sitting in their cars are a popular target. So, now I instinctively lock it as soon as I get in. Mine asked why I only wore one earbud when I go for my run, even after I explained that a lot of women don't wear two for safety reason. He was still so flabbergasted by it. Not because he didn't understand my explanation, but just because he had never had to think about his safety in that way. I live in a really safe area, but even the idea of wearing both earbuds gives me anxiety. Edit. Guys, I never said he blasts music in both ears and is deaf to the world. He can hear. He plays things at a respectable volume. He usually listens to audiobooks anyways. So, nothing too loud or distracting. Calm down. Low. I was groped by a bicyclist on my run just last winter. He was there and gone before I could do anything. I'm still mad about it to this day. But also it was a strong reminder that literally anything can happen before you even realize you need to defend yourself. You're right to be cautious. My daughter really wanted to see some stars and the moon. So, one night we drove out on a country road, maybe 10 minutes from our house, to get away from the lights. We did it on a whim before bedtime. So, I was in slippers, and she was in her pajamas, with her two favorite stuffed animals. It was beautiful and magical. I was so ducking scared the whole time about how vulnerable we were. It was dark. There was no one around. And we were just off the side of the road. The highest risk was an inattentive driver doesn't realize the road curves and hits our car. But boy, did I run through a litany of all the terrible things that could happen to a young girl and her mother caught alone. Meanwhile, she found her first constellation and was so happy. I don't ever want her to be scared in the background while experiencing the wonder of the world. Though, to be fair, I also just have ambient anxiety. Well, so my brain chemistry didn't help. Story 4. I've learned that speaking up in certain situations can still be seen as being too aggressive, even if I'm just stating facts. It's frustrating, but I've adjusted how I handle things to keep things moving forward. The most frustrating thing is being told that your input is valuable, and that you should be more assertive. I've always been passive, and it took a lot of courage to try to be more assertive at work. When I did finally start suggesting stuff, my manager, another woman, told me that I was being disruptive. My mom always said, in the work environment, women get called aggressive for the same behavior that men are called assertive. It's super frustrating. Story 5. One tough truth I've had to accept is that no matter how hard I work or how good I am, some people will always underestimate me because I'm a woman. It's frustrating to know that I often have to prove myself more than men, just to be taken seriously. Also, as a woman you can speak up at work and have great ideas, but get ignored. Then a male colleague will say the same thing and everyone will listen. It is infuriating. I had a male colleague once who actually stood up for me. Male-dominated environment. Because the ideas I contributed were good, even though everyone else was taking the piss. Really a great guy. Sadly few and far between. Obama actually started doing this when he realized that his female staffers weren't being taken as seriously. He would redirect attention to them like Susan brings up in Good Point. Susan, could you elaborate? Or even just acknowledging them after they made a point with a nod. It noticeably raised the respect they were given to the level of male staffers.